Hi, I'm Ann.
And I'm Gracie.
This is Little Things, Big Difference, where we talk about little things that make a big difference in your life. And today we're going to talk about habits.
Yes.
So, Gracie, let's get real about our bad habits.
Yes, so one of my bad habits that I have, but COVID has definitely helped, is biting my fingernails. Anne helped me realize this bad habit. I default to other people to make lunch plans. Whatever you want, it's fine. It doesn't matter what I want.
Yes, if I had like a quarter for every time you said that, I would be a millionaire.
Wealthy woman. My husband will love this one. You know, getting mad at him for being on his phone when really I'm probably on my phone the same amount of time. It's just when I put mine down and he's on it, then like, hey, you should be off of yours because I'm not on mine.
Yeah.
And then definitely I'll tell on myself one more that, you know, I'm sure you are probably guilty of this too, but you sit down with Netflix and you're like, okay, I'm going to watch one episode. Then you get that message. It's like, hey, are you still alive? Are you still watching?
Yep.
Dadgummit, yes, I watched way more than I said I was going to. So
Yep.
those are some of my bad habits. And what
and a
about
whole
you?
season later, there you are.
Yeah.
I, definitely have a phone habit, although mine is a little bit different. I have a habit of first thing in the morning checking my phone.
Yes.
Or when I wake up in the middle of the night, checking my phone.
Yep.
And really, when you think about it, who in the world is going to call me or text me or tell me anything that is pertinent? Like, if they can't make it through the night without me, then something is really wrong.
Yeah, for sure.
They don't need me that bad. So I need to stop doing that first thing in the morning and kind of just have a better start to my morning. Another thing that is a bad habit for me is that I tend to overwork.
What? Are you for real?
Just a bit.
Are you sure?
Yeah, just a bit. I really like to be productive. I like to get things done. I like to do lots of things. And when I have a free day in my calendar where there's like no events, I begin making a to-do list for myself instead of just enjoying the fact that there's nothing on my calendar. Yeah. And Gracie is not surprised. And then the other thing that I don't know that this is a habit I'm ready to kick yet, but it definitely is a bad habit. Every night before bed, I go in the kitchen and I have this big jar of chocolate chips and I portion it out for myself almost to the chip.
Oh my gosh,
but
that's
I
amazing.
take that with me to bed and I'll read my books and check my phone one last time and eat my chocolate chips. So
That's amazing.
yeah, bad habits. So what do you do with these bad habits and how do you kick them? Well, I think the first thing that we've got to do is we've got to learn, why do we have habits? Like, how do they form? And when I think about bad habits, it's almost as if it's one of these puzzle games that has all the ridges and grooves and things like that in a little ball that you move through to get to the end destination. So that's kind of how habits work in your brain. So when we think about the things that we're going to do, basically our thought process travels through our brain in a particular way. And then what happens is over time, as we think in the same way, like, oh, I think tonight I'm going to get a little thing of chocolate chips and I'm going to take it in my room and check my phone. Then every single night, pretty much, I just don't even think about it. I just do the habit because the little ball that's in my brain, that impulse is traveling the same path. And it's almost like it wears a groove, a really thick groove in my brain. So I stop thinking about it. And whenever somebody asks you, hey, where do you want to go to eat? You say, I don't know, where do you want to go to eat? And you don't even think about it anymore. Yeah. So basically what we've got to do in order to break these bad habits is we've got to start disrupting our brain. And we've got to get our brains to stop thinking the same thing and making the same choices. And that is really, really hard. It's really difficult because it's so automatic. And, you know, just as an example, the other day we live kind of out in the country a little bit and we have a well and our pump broke. And so we had no water. And it was so strange to me because I knew in my head there was no water. But then when I was fixing my breakfast in the kitchen, I went over to the sink and I turned it on. And knowing no water was going to come out, it just literally was a habit. Or I went in there to the bathroom to brush my teeth and I had a bottle of water there. So I knew there was no water in the sink, but I turned on the water.
Yeah.
And of course nothing comes out. And so what we've got to do, the little thing that makes a big difference, is disrupting that path that impulse moves through your brain.
Yeah, and I think a big thing too is that you've got to figure out why you're doing what you're doing. You know, you've got to figure out what you're getting out of this habit or what rewards you're getting out of it. And then what you want to do once you identify that is then maybe identify something else that can give you either the same reward or a better reward, so that you can replace your bad habit with a good habit.
Yeah.
So I'll tell on myself a little bit here as an example. Starting off 2021, I decided that I was going to try and eat healthier. And Anne can tell you that is not something that I did prior to 2021. So, you know, and a lot of times what I found in that is, you know, I would enjoy this meal, whether it was good for me or bad for me, which it was bad for me. And it would make me feel good in the moment. And, you know, afterwards it might not make me feel good and it might not give me a good result, but in the moment I was like, heck yes, this is delicious, I'm eating it. And so what I've learned is that, hey, this meal, it might not taste as good, although it is possible to have a healthy meal that tastes good.
Yes,
this is a big revelation for me, and maybe we'll do a new how-to video in the future of how to make a delicious healthy meal.
Absolutely.
But what I've learned is it might not taste as good in the moment, but the result is going to give you something much better in the long run. So the reward in that, it might not be an instant reward, but once you look at the result of what you're doing, you're going to have a much better reward. So just as an example of that, you know, just identifying the bad habit, replacing it with a good habit that can give you a better reward is one little thing that can make a really big difference.
Yeah. So, you know, when I think about my overworking, you know, as I think about, okay, well, why do I overwork? That's a hard question to answer. You know, why is it that I get so driven toward productivity? And I think that when I get to the heart of it, it's the praise that I get from the product that I produce. You know, when I work really hard and I do lots of stuff, then I get lots of praise. And I think that's kind of what drives my overworking. So if I substitute something for that, I think what I need you to do is start praising me when I rest. When I don't work, I think maybe I need you to call me and say, Anne, you're not working, great job. and maybe I need to be praised for something else. Or for instance, with the phone checking, okay?
Yes.
I think that as I began to ask myself, okay, why do I check my phone before I do anything else? Or why do I check my phone during the night, you know, if I wake up? For some reason, and you guys may not have this issue, but I definitely have this issue, is I do not like to have a number on my phone where it says you have this many notifications. Like that just sends me over the edge and freaks me out. So I don't want to have a number. So when I wake up in the middle of the night, it's like I got to clear those numbers out before I can go back to sleep. And so I think what I need to do is substitute my need for clearing those numbers with giving myself a little bit of time to do that while I eat breakfast. Instead of first thing in the morning, let me just give myself 10 minutes before I get to work, because the big thing is I don't want all those numbers when I get to work. So if I kind of schedule my time a little bit differently and do that in a different way, then I'm still getting the reward of not having to tackle all those notifications whenever I get back to work.
So our challenge for you today and for this week is that we want you guys to ask yourselves this question. What is the reward that I'm getting out of this bad habit, and why are you doing that bad habit? You know, what's the motivator? And we really want to encourage you to find a new way to meet that need with a new strategy.
Yeah. So if you're looking for more little things that make a big difference, we encourage you to join us at our other accounts. We have a Facebook page and we have an Instagram account that is The Chapel Online. And we look forward to hearing from you. So make sure you comment below. Make sure you subscribe. Click that bell for updates. We want to hear about the little things that are happening in your life that are making a big difference.